Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. My name is Simon from NQA. Thank you for joining this webinar to discuss transferring your certification to NQA. This was supposed to be held by Laura Fletcher today, but unfortunately she's not able to join due to an internet failure. So you've got myself today. Going into the first slide, so the presentation today is going to be a 30-minute presentation talking about transferring certification to NQA. There is a questions option, so please feel free to ask any questions in the question chat box. I'll pick these up at the end and try and get through all of them. This is a recorded webinar, so if you did want to pick this up another time, or if you had any queries that you wanted to ask further down the line, there'll be opportunities to get in touch with me after this webinar as well. So myself, I'm a UK sales manager for NQA. I've been with NQA for about 3 years. I worked in the certification industry for just over 5, and I'm responsible for a small sales team and any sort of incoming inquiries in relation to sort of tenders, existing client inquiries for additional standards certification, as well as transfers. So today we're going to talk about the reasons to consider transferring your certification initially, then onto the transfer process itself, what that's involved or how that process works. Transfer timescales, so how quickly can you transfer from one certification body to another, and how much does it cost to transfer and what's involved in that, and why should you choose NQA? So initially, reasons for transfer, what we tend to find is that there's a number of different reasons. There's not just one specific reason why companies look to move their certification from one body to another. Obvious one is poor service. Maybe you haven't had quite the service you were expecting initially working with a certification body. It might be there's been a downturn in service if you've been with them for a number of years, or you just weren't getting the love from the certification body that you once were potentially. This tends to be the majority of clients that move across, especially to NQA. The level of service, so like I say, you might have been getting a higher level of service, getting more interaction with your certification body. Maybe your auditors changed, maybe there's been some issues in relation to that. Level of communication might have been on a downturn, and you just, like I say, might not have been getting what you were used to. Consistency in auditor, it's a challenge to maintain and have the same auditor all the time. Obviously, people come and go within organizations, but it's an ideal scenario to have the same auditor year on year for your certification, so they understand your business, your organization, and obviously the approach to certification. So a number of certification bodies have a different way of approaching it, and we can go into a bit more detail about that. Retendering, so we get a lot of contractual requirements, so a lot of larger companies, especially in public sector, tend to have to go out to tender if for whatever reason internally there's a review for your outgoing expenditure, which I know a lot of companies have experienced in the last year especially. Then tenders will take place, and then you look to potentially move for a number of different reasons, whether that's price or whether that's service. Changes within your organization, so it might have become a larger or smaller organization, might have had some acquisitions along the way and increased your number of employees, number of sites. Potentially it's a global organization now, so retenders are essential for that process. Multiple ISO, different certification bodies, so shopping around for the best deal, top 3, going out to market to see who's the most competitive in terms of price and finding out what the service level agreements are, and different auditors, so a different auditor approach. At NQA especially, we tend to try and use the same auditors where we can and try to use NQA employed auditors as opposed to somebody who doesn't work directly for NQA and isn't trained by NQA. Integrated management, so understanding if you've got more than one standard, 9, 14, 45 potentially, you'd want to integrate those, which will help reduce your ongoing costs within your organization. So how do you transfer to NQA? It's a very straightforward process, and I think a lot of companies, especially ones that I've spoken to in the past, tend to sort of fear it in some ways. They might potentially be part way through their cycle or coming up for a recertification and think, oh no, we can't do that yet, we need to wait. Ultimately, the first step really is to get in touch with us, send us an email, get on the phone, have a look on our website. There's a number of different ways to contact us, all very simple and straightforward. We would request some basic information, so your existing certification to ensure that transfer takes place. It's with a UCAS accredited body or comes from a UCAS accredited body. Review of your most recent audit reports up to and including the recertification that last took place. Understanding where you're at within your NCRs. Have you got any existing, any open minors and majors? If you have you put corrective action in place to close those out? Just understanding exactly where you're at in your cycle. And then we would send you out a quotation. So the next step from there is sign the proposal, agree to the transfer, and then we would look at the actual physical transfer of the audit. So this can be done a couple of ways. So there's remote auditing or on-site, which is a term we haven't really used in the last 12 months. It tends to be more remote, but the level of detail required in that transfer can vary. So once we're happy that you are who you say you are doing what you say you're doing, and the certificates that you want to transfer are in date, all the information is accurate, we would then issue you with a NQA certificate. Once you've got that, we will then take on your audits that are coming up in the coming year and for the following cycle. So how much will it cost? And time and money. So how long will it take? It is an extremely simple process. It obviously will depend on the size of your organization. If you're a very small organization, under 100 employees, one site, very simple activity to take place. If you're a large multi-site organization, this will take a bit longer, but it would never take more than a day for an auditor to review audit reports, certificates, make sure everything's where it needs to be, and get a certificate issued out to you. So as it says there, it could be less than a week, especially at the moment with remote audits taking place. This would obviously have an impact on when your certificate expires. So if your certificate was due to expire in, say, a month, then you're probably a little bit late to be transferring your certificate. We would look to try and do what we can, but at that stage, you're probably in a position where you'd want to go ahead with your existing audit that's going to take place and then look to transfer after that. Looking at the cost itself, so the cost of the remote audit will vary. So if you've got one standard, then it would obviously be cheaper for us to transfer that across than if you've got 3 standards and multiple sites. The full proposal would ensure that every area is covered within that, the accurate duration, accurate costs for the ongoing audits, and how much that's going to be moving forward. So who are NQA? If you're not an existing client or you've never heard of us before, or this is a new company to you, to give you a little bit of background and insight into who we are. So we're a global organization. We're owned by an American company. We have a number of different standards that we offer, or certificates that we offer. We've been around in the UK for 30 years. We've got over 50,000 certificates globally, with over 1,000 employees. Our top hitters in the UK are the sort of standards 9001, 14 and 45. There's been a bit of a spike and a lot more interest in 27001, 50001, 13485 in the last few months, and 22301, as you can imagine. So in the US, we are the #1 certification body in the aerospace sector, with some extremely high-level clients there, and over in China, we're the #1 certification body in the automotive sector, by a long stretch. The certification services that we offer and training that we offer, are your basic 9,000, 14, 45,001, as well as I mentioned, 50,001, 22,301, 27,001, medical devices 13,485, IATF for automotive and aerospace standards. These areas are growing quite significantly, so we offer a lot more training on these services now. All our training services are available online, and again, in the last 12 months, we've taken that to a remote platform, so we're doing a lot more training remotely, which has been extremely successful, and we found a lot of companies that have kind of jumped on board and getting involved with that. So nationwide training services for all our existing clients. We offer free e-learning services, completely free of charge. However many employees you've got within your organization that you want to sit on these courses, we offer that free. And it's relatively cheap, to be perfectly honest with you, if you're not an existing client, and they're really, really good courses. Most of our employees within the organization take these as part of their onboarding process included. We offer in-house training, so if you've got 4 or 5 employees within your organization you feel would benefit from a training course, and then we can provide this service for you. Again, at the moment we're doing this remotely. Historically we've done it on site, but we can, moving forward, this will fluctuate and change, but we can offer, we can be pretty flexible for that. Public training courses, so again we used to run them in the hotels in various different locations across the UK. And now we offer a lot of those virtually, which are extremely easily accessible. And again, all this information is available on the NQA website. So NQA have got something called a Net Promoter Score of 70. So across our industry, the industry standard is 43. We actually have the highest Net Promoter Score available. This is based on our customer service and the levels of customer service that we offer. We have a high retention of clients, over 10-year tenure, I think is the average. We're very proud of that, and a lot of clients stay with us for a very, very long time. We tend to lose clients if, unfortunately, in the last 12 months, if they've gone bust or they've gone out of business or no longer require certification, rather than losing out to competitors. So NQA's experience promise, this is one of the sort of fundamental parts of our organization, and something that we're very proud of again. So we promise to update you on industry changes. We do this through various information and webinars that we send out similar to this. The access to the information on our website is available, which is quite unusual. There's a lot of certification bodies that don't provide that. We promise our experience will add value to your audit schedule. So when you have an auditor come out and audit you, we will try and make sure that you're getting the best experience possible. You're working with that auditor to make sure that it's a happy and friendly process. Some companies and people within organizations are terrified of auditors and get concerned about them coming out to visit them and picking faults in their business. The way we try to approach it is that it's an improvement for your business, and it highlights areas for improvement and makes you a better business and a better organization, rather than see it as a fault or a flaw in your business. So we ensure all our fees are all inclusive, so we don't charge any extra fees. We don't have any hidden fees within our contract. So we're very, very black and white about what we charge and how we charge it, and all that information would be on a quote letter that we send out to you, and you'd be updated with any changes should that happen over the course of each year, well in advance. So we ensure our auditors are technically and competent for your industry. So we employ a number of different auditors from a range of environments to ensure that we've got the best knowledge that we possibly can. And when an auditor comes out to yourselves as a client, they understand your business, they understand where your pain points, where your risks might be, and how we can help to improve your auditing experience. So we deliver an excellent customer service. As I said, our service score is particularly high for the industry, and again, as I say, we're very proud of that. We have access coming up this year to a portal, which is a system that we're having built in the background. This gives clients the opportunity to review their existing certification, gives you an opportunity to review your audit reports and an opportunity to review your non-conformities and any actions that need to be taken on those. So it gives you more flexibility to deal with things directly yourselves rather than have to rely on phoning somebody or waiting for an email to come through, which we found has been quite good feedback from our existing clients, and looking forward to this being in place. So what you can expect from NQA is a practical and common sense approach. We try to be a particularly approachable company in that we're very responsive. Our response times are extremely quick. If you need help, guidance, advice, we're at the end of the phone or we're on an email and we'll get back to you very quickly. We offer a particularly comprehensive service because we can offer you a number of different standards. We can offer you a number of different training courses. As I mentioned, the e-learning is free to all our existing clients, and we have public courses and in-house courses available for nearly all of our standards and certification that we offer. As well as that, the latest technical advice. So there's an e-shot that goes out every month with any updates and changes to standards. So for any migrations that are taking place or any changes to standards or new versions of standards that are coming out, this information will be readily available for you and sent out to you as an existing client. The support we provide, so assessors, continuity and integrated management system assessors. So if you do have 2, 3, 4 even standards that you have within your organization, to have one auditor come out and perform that for you rather than 3 or 4 different auditors is a benefit to you, and a reduction in cost. So a lot of our auditors are trained for 9, 14 and 45 where possible, where they've got the experience and the knowledge in the industry. Expert webinars. Whether I'd say this is an expert webinar, I'm unsure, but hopefully it's been a helpful webinar. But we have a lot of extremely qualified people who do these webinars, who have a very strong level of background knowledge and understanding of the industry. So whether it be at the moment, particularly 50,001 is a big one, 27,001, and the people that perform those webinars are, industry experts. And they understand fully what they're talking about, what they're discussing in these webinars, and you get an awful lot of good, strong takeaways from that. We offer a lot of free guides, free information on our website, which can all be found on various different areas. So, for instance, for 9001, if you're looking for an implementation guide, if you're new to certification, we offer a free guide to try and support you and help you with that. Obviously, we have to remain relatively impartial as we're a third-party certification body, so we can't tell you to put this system in place and it will definitely pass you and you will definitely have 9001 and it will be fully competent. So we provide information based on the audits that we've done, the information that we have to hand, to try and support you where we can and where possible. So over the last 12 months, it's been extremely challenging for a number of different organizations, and we worked extremely quickly as an organization to try and work with our existing clients to make sure that their continuity of service was there. We offered a number of different services, like remote auditing became what happened extremely quickly. It was something that we had to make sure was in place within the first sort of 6-12 weeks. Because companies would be losing their certification, and that wasn't something that people wanted to risk. We offer a return to work safely guide. All of this information again is available on our website, and it's all free information. You don't have to pay for any of this. 22301, which has obviously been a massive standard that I think everybody's looking at the moment, especially the implementation guide that we put together there was again done very quickly, but done in a really good way. It's a fantastic tool, and I recommend you review it. Phase 2, low cost virtual training. So NQA risk assessment training, returning to work post COVID-19 lockdown. We offer a lot of information available to that. Again, there's webinars about this and information available on our platform, and remote internal audit training. As I mentioned, this is sort of the future of our training. I think we'll offer it as an on-site service as well as remotely. And phase 3, get COVID secure. So COVID secure was something that was picked up very quickly. We have a number of clients that have taken this and implemented this in their organizations, our office being one of them, to make sure and ensure that the COVID secure guidelines are met at all costs. So the safety of your employees are paramount. Okay, so I've got a couple of questions here. So if anybody's got any questions or would like to ask any questions, then please feel free to input those into the question box, and I'll ask them as best I can. Okay, so I have a question here about receiving a quotation, currently holding certification for another company or group. Yep, so as I mentioned towards the beginning of the presentation, the best process for a quote is to go through our website. Natalie is actually going to send out after this call a quote request form, which asks you a number of questions about your existing certification and how we can then quote to bring that on board. So the best route would be to respond to that email or go through our website and ask for a quote request and fill out that information through the website. But I'm happy to contact you after this call to give you some more information and run through how we can quote for you. Okay, so there's a question here about the payment terms. So what we tend to do is, if you have a transfer, you would look to pay for the transfer prior to it taking place. Once it's taken place, we would then invoice you for the coming audits in that year, and then you'll receive annual invoicing. I think our invoices go out every year in April. Hopefully that answers the question there. It's fairly straightforward. 30-day invoicing. Any other questions? Hopefully this has been a helpful presentation and you've got some takeaways from it. As I said, if there's anybody who has any further questions or would like to ask anything, we have a web chat on our website which comes directly to our sales team, and they'd be happy to pick up any questions or answer any questions that you might have on there. Otherwise, as I say, Natalie's going to send out a copy of this presentation, my contact information, as well as a quote request form if you do wish to receive a quote or discuss this further. Other than that, I don't have any other questions. As I say, thank you, and I hope this has been a helpful presentation. Thank you.